Good
Good
morning.
morning, guys. Aren't they handsome? Aren't they just handsome? And their teeth are nice, too.
Oh, good.
Their teeth are nice because they are dentists. You know, sometimes you see a barber who can't cut his own hair or his hair looks a mess. But these are guys who are living what they do. And,
We try.
well, you have to because
yeah.
you know a lot about what's happening. And Dr. Livingston, Ronald, tell the audience again how long you've been practicing.
I've been practicing here in the same location in Highland Park for 33 years.
Why do
33
you
years.
stay in Highland Park?
I love Highland Park. Highland
I
Park
do,
is
too.
full of, families, hardworking families and seniors and young people. And, I'm born and raised in Detroit. And I understood a long time ago, you don't believe the hype that you hear, all the negativity about things, because that's not the people.
Oh, absolutely not the people.
And the people are great. We've had opportunities to move to the suburbs like everybody else and take our office, and I refused. What I did is I expanded and I renovated to make sure that we could serve people in the city, to give them high quality dentistry, give them a suburban office in the city.
In fact, you have a lot of my former students who
Oh,
have
yes,
been
we do.
going to you since they were young.
Yes, we do. And that's what I love about it, is that, we're like family. We treat people right. We give them a fee they can afford. We take good care of them. We walk them through the process, make them feel comfortable, and they love us, and we love them back.
Great. And why did you become a dentist? When did you know you were going to do this?
I knew this probably in high school. I wanted to be some type of doctor.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to St. Martin de Porres on 12th and Webb.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Doolin was the principal back then, graduated in 72. And we had we had a beautiful, close-knit family in our school, and everybody studied hard and wanted to excel. I had a scholarship to University of Detroit, which had excellent dental school, and the more I explored it, I decided in terms of being in the medical field, I wanted to be a dentist because you had more control over your time.
What about you, Dr. Blake?
I wasn't pushed in any way or the other by my dad or my grandfather, Dr. Vaughn. He was an oral surgeon. So I got two generations ahead of me who were dentists, but they told me, do something that you felt passionate about. And growing up in the dental field, you get to see the happiness that you can provide to people, and at the same time you get to see, like he said, control over your hours. You're not on call, you're not working 60 hours a week. You have more control over your schedule, and you get to provide people with health care that is very important. It is undervalued by many people, but health care that's very important, and cosmetic stuff that can make people feel much better about themselves.
Well, when I was coming up, or I remember this when I was working in Summers, there was a dentist. I don't know what his name was, but they did emergency care. Bloom, or I don't know what his name was, but he did a lot of. People could call in case of emergency, late at night, whatever, and he'd do that. I know that's gone by the way of buttonhole shoes, but you just have to hang.
Well, it's funny, and Dr. Blake was just talking about. You ever notice on the news shows, this is a pet peeve of mine, when they go to interview somebody, it's a big fire, right? There's a big crowd of people standing, they go to interview somebody. It seems like they always pick somebody with the teeth missing in our community. They go out in the suburbs, everybody's smiling, but when they go to ours, you got 50 people there, and it seems like they picked that one who didn't go to the dentist.
Well, those things happen.
Watch the news next time. Watch. That's my hobby.
I listen to how they talk sometimes.
No, that's true too. Yeah.
It drives me up a wall because I just thought that as generations went on, we get better.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, well,
I think we do.
We do.
We do.
Yeah, people. A lot of times what you see is people who weren't taken to the dentist as a child, when they get older, they say, I don't want my kids to have the same dental problems that I had when I was a child, so they start to bring their children to the dentist.
But ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing worse than a toothache. A toothache, when your tooth hurts, your heart hurts, everything hurts.
I've had patients tell me their toothache hurt worse than childbirth, passing a gallstone,
kidney stone.
Kidney stone.
And then some people use Oragel. Tell everybody about Oragel.
Well, Oragel it's It's a topical anesthetic, and you can rub it on your gums, and it basically numbs up the gums. It's similar to the ointment that we would use to put on your gums before we give you an injection. But it's a very weak form of it. So it's something that can get you
Yeah.
by in the middle of the night, but it's not a cure-all. It doesn't treat the problem. Problem comes back when it wears off.
I kept it in my hand.
Yeah, so
The worst one. And
Well,
I
you
was
know-
going to Dennis Perkins at the time.
That's my buddy.
Yeah, I know. He stands as godfather to my son.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. That's a good friend of mine. We were talking about you mentioned about how back in the day people weren't able to have access to dental care like they should, and part of that was dental insurance didn't come along until the 70s. So before that, people just did the best they could. But once they got dental care in the 70s, through the auto industry usually and through the UAW, it made people step up. And the generation, we had a discussion with a parent. She had her daughter in yesterday, and she got a crown. The daughter got a crown. She's 16. She was 16. And she came out, and her mom says, "Well, how'd it go?" And she says, "Oh, it was great." She was smiling. She says, "Well, what about the shot?" She says, "The shot, I don't even remember, about the shot." And the mom was like, the mom and I are about the same. Well, she's a little bit younger than me. And we say, well, nowadays kids don't have that frame of reference where the bad old days,
Yeah.
They, nowadays it's, kids are used to going to the dentist. They're used to going to their physician. Healthcare is a lot more accessible to a lot of people, thank goodness. So, and a lot of that has to do with President Obama too. So, thank God for Obamacare.
Yes. Tell everybody about what he's doing.
Something that's come to Michigan thanks to Obamacare is the Medicaid expansion. Each state was offered federal money for Medicaid expansion, and the governors had to decide to select whether they're going to opt in or opt out. And luckily, Snyder decided to opt in. And what that has done is that allowed a lot of people who did not have access to Medicaid dental care before now have coverage automatically when they sign up through the Healthy Michigan plan with their health plan. They get dental insurance attached with
Through
it.
the Healthy Michigan plan.
That's correct.
That's if you have Medicaid.
That's a Medicaid expansion program, yes, as a part of Medicaid. There are certain carriers that all offer different dental insurances. The best that we have worked with so far is the Delta Dental Insurance. We're strong proponents of Delta Dental. It's a Michigan-based company also,
Right.
which is also helpful, help our own economy. But there's 9 different health plans that offer Delta Dental, and then there's also some health plans that offer Blue Cross Dental, some that offer Harbor Care Dental. But so far, the best one has been the Delta Dental. Okay, it's the best for the dentist and the patient so far,
in our opinion.
In our opinion.
But
What are some of the others?
There's Blue Cross and there's Harbor Healthcare, and I believe Total Healthcare might have one also.
Well, with the health plans, you basically receive your dental benefits under your medical plan now with the Medicaid expansion. So if you have Meridian Health Plan, Total Health, Belina, PHP, Priority, Health Plus, Midwest, you can select a Delta Dental plan through your Medicaid expansion Healthy Michigan plan, and we do accept that plan under the Delta if you have that Healthy Michigan plan, which has been a benefit to quite a bit of patients because there's no co-payment. Patients could get dentures.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dentures, partials, fillings, cleanings, x-rays, exams, extractions. Some of those extractions can be done under general anesthesia. You can be put to sleep. And there's no co-payments. This is amazing. We don't know how long this plan is going to last.
Yeah, you better catch it before it goes somewhere.
Following November after these elections, who knows what'll happen with this Medicaid expansion.
You better take care of it because if a certain party takes over, who knows what they might do that because they, in my opinion, don't have a lot of empathy for people who are underserved and poor people. People in general, but especially people who are in need of certain benefits. So
how do they live with themselves? I just don't know. When you want your fellow man, well, maybe they don't consider them
they
the
sleep
fellow
on their
man
big bed
or
made of
woman.
money.
Right. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what Romney said. Romney said 47% he doesn't care about those people. So
and that seems to be
almost
a
half.
common thread.
Right. So I don't understand it, but we know that when there is a situation and opportunities for you, especially in healthcare, for you to take advantage of, you should take advantage of those because there's few and far between.
Well, seniors. Let's talk a little about seniors.
Okay.
As people are approaching their senior years, shouldn't they be even more vigilant about uh, dental care?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because as you age, we start to see changes in our body, obviously. And in the mouth, what we see is have a tendency to have more dry mouth, more.
Oh, my gosh. You know what? No, I saw somebody this week. They were long in the tooth. Remember we were talking about. I said, I kept on looking at their mouth, and I said, long in the tooth,
That's right.
because the
Gum
gums
recession.
were receding.
Right.
Yep. So also, seniors also have more of a predilection for gum disease, so they get long in the tooth. And
How do they know they're getting lung disease?
Gum disease.
Gum disease.
gum disease is exhibited by bleeding, redness, inflammation of the gums, recession of the gums, where the tooth is starting to appear longer. Where the gum is pulling away, and you're starting to see the root surface of the tooth. Now, dry mouth contributes heavily to dental decay, also.
What is dry mouth exactly?
Dry mouth is when the salivary glands stop producing the saliva like they used to. That causes a poorer fit in dentures. That causes an increased risk for
So there's
decay.
no moisture in your
No
mouth?
moisture in the mouth. It's like the Sahara Desert in there.
So what can you do as a dentist to help that person?
Well,
anything?
If the dry mouth is caused by medications, we work with the medical doctor to possibly discuss other options for other medications, alternatives, because typically the medications that cause that are blood pressure medications, and a lot of African American folks, we are on blood pressure medications, but there are alternative medications that may not cause that dry mouth.
Radiation treatment.
It could be radiation treatment. It could just be old age and the salivary glands are not working the way they're supposed to. But there are other drugs that you can take to help increase
Yeah, there's
saliva.
something they advertise on
Oh
television.
yeah, the biotine and some
Yes.
of the other rinses. We usually give those free samples to patients for dry mouth. There's lozenges, there's gums, there's rinses. There's also other medications that you can use. But like I tell patients sometimes that people don't realize that they have dentures, and they say, "Hey, I'll have my denture," and in the morning it fits tight, but in the afternoon it feels like it's looser. And what they did is they took their medication in the morning, and as the day went on, that medication took effect, usually a diuretic, a water pill, Lasix, hydrochlorothiazide, and it'll dry up their mouth throughout the day, and they'll notice the difference in the fit of their denture, because saliva is the glue that holds your denture in place, along with the bone.
Okay, so our seniors need to be aware of those.
Need to be aware of those things and allows things, and also too, ill-fitting dentures can cause serious problems. Dentures last 5 years. After 5 years, they lose their fit. It's not that there's a problem with the denture. It's just that the foundation, the gums and bone they're sitting on, deteriorates after 5 years, and it loses its fit.
Now, this is a partial, right?
Right.
That's correct.
See, I know these things. I know about all these. Because. Now, this is a partial that you can't see a wire.
Right.
That's right.
Now, in the past, and a lot of people are familiar with that, whereas we've had all these wires that connected the partial to your tooth, and when you smiled,
that's
that
a
was
lot.
visible.
Yeah.
And it's heavy. Whereas the new partials that we make nowadays, your gums show through the material. It's not a heavy acrylic material. It's much lighter weight than what the old ones were.
Sure. Wow.
And the wires don't show at all, so they are virtually invisible in the mouth. I do put a metal framework in there to make it stronger and last longer, but
That's pretty good.
patients
yeah.
love those. We make about 90% of the partials we make nowadays are the without the wires on them. And that's something patients have always.
Do they
for 30
cost
years.
more? Or?
They can cost more. My fee is it's the same. I don't charge any different for the wireless than the ones with the wires, because I like them better
get
too.
the wires?
They do. There are some certain instances where, if we want to come back in a short period of time and maybe add a tooth, we know we're going to do that in a year or so, because say we've taken out the teeth and put the teeth right in the same visit, we know there's going to be some shrinkage. We might go with one with the wires on it, and later on change it to the other one. But in most cases, 90% of the cases, I say we would do without the wires.
And like we talked about last week, this is a full plate.
Right, that's the one. That's the implant. That one's on there
That's
tight.
the implant,
Yeah.
right?
This is a implant denture, which we make that actually, you can feel it. It snaps onto the jaw.
So this piece of metal you have in your mouth?
Well, it's not noticeable once we've surgically implanted that into the gums, and heals after 3 or 4 months, and then we can make a denture that virtually snaps onto that, and that eliminates those lower denture problems.
Would you say you have more women patients or men?
We're about 50-50 actually.
I'd say it's maybe slightly more female.
Yeah, maybe slightly more female, but there's obviously a problem with men going to the doctor and the dentist. We all know that. And to that, you said that you wanted to talk about oral cancer, and I think that's an important opportunity to mention that African American men were at a much higher risk of oral cancer prevalence, which is just the actual incidence of us having oral cancer. We're also at a higher mortality rate, which means we die at a higher rate due to oral cancer than any other group.
How do we know? I mean, do you say it's mostly men who get it, or
It's
anybody?
Men. But African American
Really?
men are at a significant, almost 3 times higher risk for oral cancer than any other group.
Why is that?
The risk factors, I don't think that they're certain of the cause, okay? But the mortality rate is because of decreased early detection. Early detection is the key for survival of oral cancer.
How do you detect it?
Oral cancer is detected by your dentist doing an oral cancer exam on you. You can, but if you're at home and you notice a white patch or a reddish, whitish sore in your mouth that is not healing, is not resolving after a few weeks, you need to go to the doctor and have them go to the dentist and have them check that out, because your doctor will send you over to the dentist.
Right, we see that all the time. Patient will see that. I've had patients, and just recently a patient came in, her tongue had turned very dark, and she was asking him, like, why, what's going on here? And he says, I don't know, go to your dentist. So she came to us, and after, of course, we looked at her medications. He had her on 3 or 4 different antibiotics and a couple antifungals. She had too many antibiotics that was killing off too much bacteria, which made her tongue turn dark, almost black. And so once we discussed that with him and with the patient and changed some of those medications, she was back to normal. So a dark tongue, dark tongue would usually be called by using, or too long using antibiotics. And also then patients will rinse with peroxide twice a day and Listerine. So they kill off so much bacteria. All those little dead bacteria die on the tongue, and then they turn dark. And so patients don't like to look at that.
I have a cold, so I had to take a lozenge. Sorry about that.
That's okay. But also, too, speaking of the oral cancer, too, a lot of that, one of the main factors in oral cancer is heavy smoking, heavy drinking, long term. Now, one of the
drinking
alcohol
can.
Long-term alcohol.
What does it do? It seems like people used to use that for medicinal purposes.
But it doesn't really do anything. What it does is it changes the tissue. Okay, smoking, the heat changes the tissue. The alcohol content changes the tissue. Okay, when you have constant tissue changes, that's basically what cancer is. Cancer is take normal tissue and makes it grow at an abnormal rate.
Right.
So when you're constantly changing that tissue due to the heat from smoking and the carcinogens in the smoke and the carcinogens in alcohol, you're constantly changing that tissue.
There are carcinogens in alcohol?
Alcohol.
I thought it was just smoking.
Smoking, alcohol. It's in a lot of things.
Now, also, what we need to talk about is very, very important, is that under the age of 50, we're starting to see a huge increase in oral cancer caused by HPV. Okay, HPV is human papillomavirus, which is what causes genital warts, but also there's multiple varieties of
Aren't
HPV.
they saying giving
Vaccine.
young people,
Yes,
young women?
Up to the age of 26, men and women can receive the HPV vaccine, and that is the same strain. That vaccine is for the same strain of HPV that causes oral cancer. So while it may not prevent cancer, it'll prevent you from acquiring that HPV, which causes oral cancer. Okay, right. And people are afraid of this vaccine. There's no reason.
Right,
to be
I know a lot of people who will not get their children.
There is no studies that have shown any medical problems with this HPV vaccine, and what we're seeing is it's decreasing HPV, and it's not increasing sexual activity in teens. The studies have shown this. Okay, these are longitudinal studies that have gone on since they started doing the vaccine. This is a very important vaccine because HPV is an epidemic in people under the age of 40. Yes,
it's an epidemic.
HPV is the most commonly transferred sexually transmitted disease, and its highest prevalence is in African American women.
Right. It's estimated at up to almost 50%. And HPV is another thing that
Did
people.
this just come about, or
It's
Well,
been
it's been
around,
around
but
forever.
it's been around, but it hasn't been publicized. And it usually, because it lays so dormant, it doesn't cause any outward symptoms in a lot of people, and so therefore it's not a big painful thing initially. So by the time it's detected, usually by pap smears and that kind of thing.
as we go on, tell them the number to your office
Okay.
again.
Our office is located at 13724 Woodward Avenue in Highland Park, 2 blocks north of the Davison. Our phone number is 313-883-3050, and our website is livingstondentistry.com. There are people at our office right now. They can take your calls.
And do you get a lot of people who come in just for, I just want a checkup on my teeth?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
we do
Absolutely.
exams. We do
Absolutely.
exams, and every patient that we see too, we go over there. We have the ability, since we can go into the computers with the different insurance companies, to tell patients what their benefits are,
Right.
tell them
there.
up front what their co-payments are, give them a treatment plan so they're in writing so they know exactly what things cost before any treatment is performed. So people are comfortable with that, always have been. So that's what we like to do. I also want to mention too that something very exciting, the retirees for Chrysler and General Motors will receive their Delta dental plan back January 1st. Their benefits will be restored, which covers all of the benefits that were taken away: extractions, fillings, root canals, crowns,
Everything.
dentures, partials, everything is back with a lower copayment than what they have with this retiree plan. They gave them a little bit of a plan after they felt bad about it, but it really didn't cover much, and the amount of money that the insurance company provided to the patient was very low. Now it's back to normal, like when they were working. So this is a blessing. Here again, it starts January 1st. I'm sure a lot of retirees have received their packet from the UAW and Chrysler and GM, but you want to take advantage of those plans when they
Take
become available.
advantage when you have them. Take advantage when you have them.
We would tell patients, benefits, use it or lose it. Companies give you benefits based. It costs them a lot of money to provide these benefits to people, and then when they get the statistics to show they're paying out these premiums and people aren't utilizing the benefits, then they cut the benefits. They're like, why am I paying this out if you're not going to use it? Why are we paying for eyeglass coverage and people go get glasses? Why are we paying for dental coverage and people don't use it? Then they cut it, and of course that's the next day you get a toothache when the
Well,
benefits
the
get cut.
eyeglass,
So.
the eye exam is very important too.
Oh, yeah.
Very important
Right.
because it could tell, especially if you have diabetes.
Right.
Yep.
They
We
could
see
tell
a-
certain things.
It's amazing. We see the big three every day is high cholesterol, diabetes, and high blood pressure all day, every day. Matter of fact, I'm shocked when I don't see it. And the diabetes will affect your gums and cause your gum disease to be
Yes, that's
worse.
what I wanted you to talk about.
okay.
Diabetes too.
And diabetes will cause a bad situation to become worse, because just like with your toes and extremities with a diabetic, they don't heal and they have to be properly maintained, or you can lose a toe or foot. Same thing with your teeth. If you don't take care of your gums when you have diabetes, you can lose your teeth. And nobody wants to do that. And that's a terrible reason you don't have any decay, but because of the diabetes and the gum disease, you lose your teeth. And we see that every day. So we want you to keep your teeth.
Right.
We see patients. I had a patient the other day. We have patients in their 90s that have all of their teeth. And
Just because you're old does not mean that you are supposed to lose your teeth. That's a
Right.
myth.
Right. We see patients, and I always mention I have patients every day. Oh, my birthday is next week or last week, and I just turned 86. And I go, you've only got 2 teeth missing, and they've been coming to us for 30 years, and they're meticulous about taking care of their teeth, but they love it. They have beautiful smiles, and they're happy to have their own teeth, and that's a blessing. They also tend to have, those patients also tend to be a healthier individual, period. So because gum disease does affect overall health in many patients, so there's a correlation that we see even in these seniors that are in their 80s that have most of their teeth. They don't have any high blood pressure. They don't have they don't have a lot of problems with diabetes. So there's a correlation between a lot of those things. So healthy mouth, healthy body.
Shouldn't they brush your teeth at night?
Absolutely. Standard of home dental care is brushing your teeth twice a day and flossing every day.
And that's spend 2 minutes brushing every day. 30 seconds on each area of the
Right,
mouth, 4
right.
areas, 30 seconds. There are electric toothbrushes that have little timers that will tell you. But do that. And whatever you do, don't eat and go to bed. Brush your teeth, floss before you go to bed, rinse. Make sure you don't have sweet pop or dessert or
Yeah,
sugars on your
tell
teeth
them
when you
real
go to
quick
bed.
what sugar does.
Sugar is the ultimate cause of cavities. Sugar reacts with the bacteria that's in your mouth to form plaque, and that plaque creates acid when it interacts with the sugar and makes a hole in your tooth.
Which, if untreated, ends up causing your toothache, or it can decay on the root. You can end up losing the tooth, or help contribute to gum disease also. So it's and I think we discussed last time, sugar is in everything. Things that don't even taste sweet have sugar in it. Bread has sugar in it. You know, if you look I look at labels when I'm in the store when I'm buying.
Too. I find
look at all
myself
labels,
looking.
and you'll be amazed. You'll pick up something and go, this is wheat bread. Why does it have sugar in it? You know, it doesn't taste sweet. And there's other things. You know, of course, the cereals and potatoes. Everything has sugar in it. They add
Potatoes
sugar.
have sugar.
Well, what you need to look at, potato
added.
chips.
Potato chips. And also potato
chips.
Potato chips are one of the worst things for teeth. Also,
Oh my gosh.
non-sugary snack, because potato chips are carbohydrates. That's it, and they're sticky, so they get stuck in between the teeth. And when your saliva breaks them down, it breaks down the carbohydrates and the sugar, and basically we have the same effect.
Gosh, last night I just had so many potato chips.
Just brush before you go to bed.
I thought they were lightly salted, so I
That's all
figured
right.
I could eat more.
But still, the sugar's gonna be there.
Oh my gosh. Oh, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, here they go, the dentist. And give us that address and phone number one more time. Dr. Livingston, Livingston Family Dentistry.
Our address is 13724 Woodward Avenue. We're located in Highland Park, 2 blocks north of the Davison. Our phone number is 313-883-3050. And our website is livingstondentistry.com, where you can find all the information you could ever want.
And we have pictures. We have pictures of the office, the staff. We have happy patients pictured there. We have before and after pictures. We have some of everything.
Pay close attention to the commercial because it has some views of their beautiful, beautiful office too. And they have to say it.
If your teeth aren't becoming to you, then you should be coming to us.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Perry.
And Table Talk is coming on right after this, and we're discussing some things, and I have a commentary on that shooting in South Carolina. We'll see you in a moment. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
It's brought to you by Livingston